So typically halibut, I typically will start with the white side when I fillet. It's a little bit thinner meat. The top side of the fish will have thicker meat. The bottom of a halibut will have just a little bit thinner across the body. If I'm gonna do steaks, I wanna get the fin out of the way. And see how the fin rotates back and forth? They're on a joint, similar to my fingers. There's a joint there, and if you put the knife down and you let the light back through here, there's a little line right through here, and that's where the cartilage is. So it's like my finger. If I try to cut between my knuckles, I'm gonna be screaming, hollering, and probably a lot of pain and whatever. But if I went right there, to put my finger would probably just pop right off because I'm cutting through the cartilage. It's the same thing here on a fish. There's cartilage through there. It's a joint. And so I can get up here, and I'll start deep on the knife, not at the tip. I'll come down here, get it started, get a hold, and then again, let the knife do the work, and I'm just gonna guide it. Guide along, and you can tell I'm missing right there a little bit, but I'm still somewhat on it. Let the knife, don't force it too much. Slice. Let the knife, don't just push. So I get the fin off. This side here will do the same. I'll come in and get it started close. And once I get going, then I can come on around. I'm gonna just go that far since we're doing the tail. And you get that fat off. There's fin out of the way. So again, I'm starting on the white half. I switch knives. I'm using a Granton 8-inch butcher knife. That's what it is. This is called the Granton. There are several manufacturers out there that are doing it nowadays. Otherwise, it was a patent pending for several years, but the patent ran out. So, and that just helps the knife flow through the body with a lot less resistance. So again, similar to what I was doing with the other fish species, I'm going to get up in here. I refer to this as the ball of the knife, the round part. So I'll get the ball up in here, right near the fin. There is no eye on this side, so I'm just stabilizing it. My hand, again, set up, I start, and I roll the knife in around, have a slight angle, and I'll take it and then I come up. So I've started here, I'm rolling up with the tip, and now I'm just doing the tip to maximize the amount of meat off the back of the head, try to get all that. Now I take a turn with this knife, again, a little downward pressure and it'll lift that tip up. If I just push and I don't do any pressure and I'm just pushing, then I can meander into the bones and end up with making a lot of mistakes and end up with a lot of bones and waste a lot of meat. So just a little downward pressure, not too much. So I'll set up and use that tip of the knife. Let the knife slice. Slice. See, I am slicing. I'm not pushing. This would be pushing. Get the knife like that, and it's slicing around that ball as I'm going through. So come off the tail. I'll come up through here, stabilize it. I'm not lifting up because I don't want to break the meat. I'm just getting my finger enough so I can see in there what I'm doing with my knife, and then feel the knife bouncing off of bones, just the tip of it. So I got my finger in the belly again. It actually went on up and it told me where it was at. Now I know the ribs are right there, so I'll come in, take it, and I'm gonna take it and I come in and contact the ribs, and then I'm gonna turn it up and come through. So I turn it up and come through. Now I've got that. Again, identify where the belly is. I want to maximize the meat, and I'll come on down, and again, slice. The knife is at an angle. I'm not pushing, I'm letting it slice. Come down, go past my hand. That way if I slip, that's another real important thing. If I were to slip or something, I'm already past my strike zone of hitting my hand by going like that. And that also controls the fish. And then, again, roll it over. And there you go. And if you want to split, I can, of course, split it down the middle if you want to do that. So I'll come off If I start here, then I might moosh up and jam up and it'll get, so I got that, like I'll go off and then I come back in and start to cut. And if you just lay it on one side, you can actually just come off a little bit. And then there's the poke nose, and then you can minimize the amount of fat that you've left on the edge. If you cut right down the middle, then both halves will have fat, have that fat layer. It's the same thing. I can take and try to, it's a little backwards to me. I'm used to looking at it, but I'm just showing you. So there you go. You get rid of that fat layer. And try to get down, where you're getting white. So again. There we go. That's better. And then another tip. Again, you can cut this out, all this meat here on the skin. You can roll it off with your thumb. And again, I've got to turn it away from the camera in order to do this. Again, I'm going to come off here. I'm going to lay it back, lay the knife down, and cut that off. And this substance right here is rich fat, and it's called ingawa. Ingawa in Japan, China, they use it on sushi. And you can eat it raw. It's consumed raw. You can keep it very cold, and you'll skin it off the skin. So this could be skinned, and then you'll have the ingawa. And they use a little soy sauce, I believe. And that'll all come off, and this is all edible raw, as long as you've kept it cold and maintained the temperature. And then that leaves then less skin to skin when it comes to skin, and by undercutting that off, then skinning is much, much easier to remove the rest of the skin off your fletch. And then remember, the halibut is fletch, and fletch means 4 quarters or 4 parts. I believe it was Italian, the word fletch. So I'm fletching, I'm not filleting a halibut, I'm fletching. So you fletch a halibut. All right, and there's a couple fillets. I could do skin, but we've already done skin. The skin in principle is still the same as what we did with the pea cod and the ling cod. So that's that side. I'm going to do some steaks. And the other thing with steaking, this is actually okay having the one fillet off, because I can show you something that's, when I go to steak, and whether it's a salmon or this halibut or ling cod, if the fillet was on there, and we can do it this way too. I'll set the knife up, and I'll come up, and I'll tip the end up. And then I just come in and slice. That guides me to a vertebrae. Because I've hit the rays, those rays. I've sliced through the rays. The rays will help guide me down, right down, and I should end up on a cartilage. So all you gotta do is then at that point you come up, and yeah, see, I didn't. Been too long. Otherwise, you got to do this, and then you'll blow out the bottom fillet if you slam. You start smashing the bottom fillet. But typically, this will guide you down to a, there we go, I got it. Down to a vertebrae. And that's easy slicing instead of trying to slice between the bone. It's like knocking off a knuckle. So to do the rest of these steaks, get steaks off here 1 inch, 1.5 inches. They're smaller now. I mean, we can take some more steaks off this whole body. But again, I'll get up here, get the knife in, and there, that time it did guide me. So I think it's because I took it out last time. I took it out and had to start over. Again, and then salmon, it works much better with salmon because the rays aren't at an angle. They're more straight, and it'll take you, should guide you right down to a cartilage for generally most of the part. Once you get into the routine, it'll just happen all the time. So I missed it on that one again too. And you got to do that. All right, and we'll finish filleting this half. Again, on this side I have an eyeball I can get a hold of, whatever, I'll hold it here. set the knife up right at the collar, set, and then I come down and slice around using that tip, slice around. I'll go ahead and turn around so you can see. I'll turn it around. It's my finger. And that's the other thing too. Just another pointer. I'm used to holding the knife basically the same in my hand all the time, and I'm not holding it here. You don't have any flexibility if you hold it here. You keep it out on your fingers. And that allows you to have flexibility with the knife out on your fingers, and it allows you the movement to occur as you're going through a fillet. If you have it here, then you're too stiff, and you might be fighting the fish and end up running it on out and cut yourself. So again, I'm setting up. I'm going to give it a little turn here to help flatten that. I'll come on down. Coming in with the tip. I've got that's right, now off the table. See, I'm missing. There we go, I recovered a little bit. Give the knife a turn. Keep my hand out of the way so I don't strike it, so I don't slip and strike. There we go. And again, you should be able to see, if you're having good success, you should be able to see light through your frame. Light shine through, and you know you're getting the maximum meat that you can. I did leave some on the bone on this side here, but otherwise, I think we did pretty good on the white side. And that's a halibut. And then chicken, I can use this knife, but I'll switch to my other knife. And you can start here by the mouth. That's where I typically, if I remember correctly, and then you get in there and just keep the tip, and then you roll on around. Again, using that flex of the knife. Come down, leave it connected. You don't need to cut it all the way off. And you can come in like that, down with the skin. And there's a cheek. The other side. Get it? There's a little flank there, the connective tissue. So you just cut that down on the skin. Oh, I tore that one, but you got the general idea. That way this just stays on the carcass then. And you end up with some sweet cheek meat. And again, collars, I said it every time, collars are a wasted thing on a fish, and there's a lot of meat in here. And halibut's really good with coconut milk. Coconut milk, fresh garlic, fresh ginger. I think I'm missing, I think that's the main thing, garlic, ginger, coconut milk. And you boil it, butter. It's absolutely, oh man, it'll just melt in your mouth. So there's a halibut with multiple things to consume.